When your former colonizer sets himself on fire, you sip coffee, black, with brown sugar, and don't interfere. This is only the beginning for the French, and the West in general, the collapse of empire in its final stages. The decolonization project finally bearing fruit at last. Europe is descending into poverty. The French are watching their economies implode. Imagine being asked to work overtime for the rest of your life.
Paris became a battleground late Thursday as police tried to quell angry protesters after the French government pushed through an unpopular pensions bill without a vote. As the French Prime Minister announced in Parliament she would trigger special constitutional procedures to enact the reforms. A crowd of around 7,000 people gathered opposite the Parliament across the River Seine in a spontaneous protest. Some people flung cobblestones at the authorities, who responded with tear gas and water cannon. Fires burned in the streets nearby, and cars were set alight. West of Paris in the city of Nantes, black-clad protesters shielding themselves with umbrellas faced off against riot police. They retreated as the gas thickened, but not before they left behind determined messages saying, "Let us destroy what destroys us." Opinion polls show the pension reform plans, pushed by President Emmanuel Macron's centrist government, are deeply unpopular. The bill calls for a higher retirement age of 64, 2 years more than what it was, which the government says is essential to make sure the pension system does not go bust. Left-wing opposition parties say the pension overhaul is unfair and unnecessary, while far-right politicians such as Marine Le Pen have seized upon the government's move to skip a vote to force the bill through, calling it an extraordinary sign of weakness. Unions now call for another day of strikes and action next Thursday against the reform. France has seen weeks of unrest brought by backlash to the bill, bringing widespread disruption to train services.
I said in a previous video that life for the French is about to become a lot harder. It begins with the French. Sooner it will extend to every other European country, Western country. The cost of living crisis. Now the pension fund. So if present day things are too expensive, and now you have to work longer for the rest of your life, what will your pension be worth when you finally hit retirement age? This is the nightmare that the people in the streets are protesting about. The old people who are on the verge of retirement are finding out that, sorry, you have to work overtime. And the young people who are struggling as it is are being told that they're going to have to work even longer. And as Africa develops, what are they going to do? What can they do? So let them protest, because things are only going to get worse from here.
Fuel deliveries, teachers, and even garbage collectors walking off their jobs, leaving uncollected garbage rotting on the streets of Paris.
The violent protests in France, thousands of people taking to the streets there after the French president pushed through a plan to raise the retirement age. Marcus Moore has the very latest. Good morning, Marcus.
Lindsay, good morning. Tense days in France, and more are expected as thousands of people took to the streets. Protesters in the streets of Paris and other cities across the country overnight, setting fires, some of them damaging buildings. And we have seen images of riot police using tear gas to break up those crowds. Police arrested more than 300 people overnight, mostly in Paris. And for a time this morning, protesters were in Paris, blocking traffic along the city's ring road. Now, people in that country are upset and are angry about President Emmanuel Macron's plan that will raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. His government using a special constitutional power to push the measure through without a full vote in the parliament. And that has angered even more people. Now, analysts have said that there was a chance that it could be rejected, and there was chaos in the National Assembly yesterday, lawmakers chanting for the prime minister to resign. Now, a majority of the people in France oppose this pension reform plan, but President Macron has said that if his plan is not implemented, that the entire pension system could be at risk. But this certainly is not over. Some lawmakers are now calling for a vote of no confidence, and more protests are expected in the coming days. Guys.
There is nothing more undemocratic than a leader deciding unilaterally that everyone will work longer for the same pay or potentially less. Longer before you touch your life savings, your pension fund, so you can enjoy retirement in peace. No more. So as the European and Western economies implode, as they face the demographic crisis, where they have too many old people and not enough young people having babies, not enough young people to replace the old and retiring, who will be left to pay for the French lifestyle that they've been enjoying all this time? Comment your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, let the algorithm know what's good. If you haven't subscribed already, do the thing, support the channel, and I'll see you in the next one, fam. Stay royal.